All right. All right, let's dive in here today. This is Ryan Overturf's Temur list from the SCG Open this past weekend. Maybe if you liked Commander, you'd have more subs. What's going on, Justin? Hope you're having a good one. It's been a hot second. Hope things are swell for you down south. I mean, to be fair, I think WotC and the people at WotC that work on it genuinely appreciate constructive criticism. I think there is simply, they don't like the public constructive criticism from people who have audiences, right? Like, I'm sure they like being told how people would like to see their stuff improve, but at the same time, they don't want to be put on blast, right? They don't want that criticism. They don't want the criticism to happen on my Twitter account that has 12,000 people on it and growing. Like, that's not what they want. This scene seems reasonable, right? It's got like Faithless Looting and Manamorphose. It's got a Thing in the Ice and some lands. Another important thing that I just remembered is that like the people that make a lot of the decisions at a company like WotC, like they don't represent everybody that works for the company, right? Like I'm sure there's people at the company. I know there's people that work at Wizards of the Coast that like me, but like those people don't get to make all the decisions, right? The question, do you think it's right to play 4 Rams in the main deck? So I'll have an article going up either later today or tomorrow. It might be tomorrow because I missed my deadline. So it depends on how quickly my editor is able to work. Sometimes when I miss a deadline, they push it back, which is understandable. But I think if you want to hedge specific matchups, main decking the Ram is fine. You need a timeout? I got you, Beetle. So here's the important thing to know. It's like people, it's possible, and this is something I just interacted with someone with online. Like people are like, well, what you said sounds like you're implying that people who get money from Wizards of the Coast are always lying. And it's like, well, that's not the case, right? Like it's possible they want people to post like public honest feedback, right? Like they want public positive feedback. So like people that are saying positive things that are sponsored are probably genuinely positive about it, right? Like you can be genuinely positive while still explicitly like not posting negative things in public. All right, Cycle Sweltering Suns here. Things like that aren't always hard yes/no questions, Kazaken. A lot of times it's like, it depends is the answer. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start on Manamorphose. No, I'm going to start on Serum Visions. So we just want to give myself the best possible chance to put a bunch of Phoenixes in the bin this turn. So I want to scry, bottom these. So I get a lot of looks at birds this turn, right? I get 3 looks with Serum Visions, I get 1 look with Manamorphose, and then I get 2 looks with each of my Faithless Looting, so I get 8 looks at it. I really don't want to get to the top 8. It's grinding Magic like that isn't fun for me anymore. Like, and honestly, part of the reason why I wasn't having fun and like why I was kind of miserable in some of my early days was because I was grinding and it stopped being fun. Like the amount of grind it's going to take to get to the top 8 of a ladder is just like, it's not going to be a pleasant experience for many. Oh, you know what? I wonder if so I have 4 card types I'm in. So next turn, I'm going to get to Traverse. They have a Through the Breach. Am I about to get breached? I think I'm about to get breached. You just dunked on Bant Fog with Temur Flash, Growth Chamber Guardian, Frilled Mystic Counterspells are a great combination. Yeah, definitely. For sure. Correct, Socier Penguin. I think there's a lot of people in there, and there's a lot of people in, like, it's especially true with, like, people from other games, right? Like, people from other games have just, like, never had a chance to actually, like, have an opinion about Wizards of the Coast, because, like, they just haven't been here in the game. So I'm gonna grab an Arclight Phoenix here. I'm gonna go ahead and cast this Faithless Looting. Hopefully we find a Phoenix plus a red source here. It's a shame I didn't find a red source. If I'd have found a red source there, we'd have killed them, right? Yeah, maybe I messed up by... I think I messed up last turn. I discarded this extra Scalding Tarn. I wasn't thinking about it. So if I would have had a red source here, I could have bolted one blocker, gut-shotted the other. Or maybe, honestly, fetching this basic island was wrong, even. So, like, a couple of these things. If I just had another red source this turn, we would go gut-shot, bolt, and then kill them. But because I don't have that... I have to go ahead and just do this, and, like, I'm gonna attack them to 6 here, but, like, I'm probably dead now. Are they conceding? Why are they conceding? Why would they concede? Weird. Oh, they have to pay for Pact. That's it. They have to pay for Pact. Okay, you're super right. They have to pay for Pact. I completely forgot that Pact was the thing that had happened. Alright, there we go. The not sponsored is my cheeky post from what happened yesterday. What do I want to do here? I definitely want the Magus, the Moon, and the Blood Moon. And what do I want to cut? Lightning Axe isn't very good. Do I have any other easy trims? I don't think this is a Spell Pierce or Dispel matchup. Snapcaster Mage is probably kind of mediocre here. This build's really neat. Just like having 8 copies of Arclight Phoenix is kind of absurd. Seems real good. Darth T. Woo, can you do me a favor and whisper me? Click on my... Darth... Whisper me. The deck list that you're cheering for. Since you didn't link it in the cheer. Helps me track it. Thank you. I gotta keep this. Seems fine. Yeah, this is card for card Ryan Overturf's deck list. Do I traverse for a land here? Nah, probably not. I'm just gonna go to Steam Vents. Lead on Serum Visions. See where we go from there. Alright, well there's my second land. So I'm gonna bottom this, top the second land. And then next turn's probably gonna be land, Manamorphose, Thought Scour, Faithless Looting, try and get some birds going. I'm doing Spell Python. Life is fantastic. Yesterday was an all upside phone call. Honestly, it's a little bit freeing, right? Because, like, it's nice to know that, like, the jokes we've made over the years are just, like, it's not in my head. It's, like, actual reality. Me saying they don't like me because of feedback on social media is, like, that's the truth. I think I'm going to go ahead and play the Thing in the Ice out now. That seems fine. I'm 1 card type short of Traverse the Ulvenwald being turned on. But if I hit a land and I've got a lot of shots at a land, I can flip this thing over. Alright, so let's start with Manamorphose. And I think I want to guaranteed flip my thing this turn, so I think I'm actually going to make green-blue here. And then I'm going to Thought Scour myself. Oh, I probably should, I should do this first. Although I could have put a creature. Is there democracy behind the longer playing time, or do you not want to put on the deck? Usually I just don't want to put on the deck. Can we get fundraise a not sponsored logo or a PBS logo? I will donate. That would be funny. Alright, so I don't have all the card types yet for this Traverse the Ulvenwald, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cast it since I made green mana already. Get this, play the Faithless Looting, hopefully find another bird here. Did not find another bird, but that's okay. God, this deck is feels kind of absurd. Did Overturf break it? Every time we've played Blue-Red Phoenix decks in the past, I've always just kind of been, this doesn't feel very good, but this build feels really good. Did they already play a land yet this turn? I think they did. You are understanding the utility. Traverse the Ulvenwald is literally just 4 more copies of Arclight Phoenix. It's literally 4 more copies of Arclight Phoenix. That's all it is. You just like want your Arclight Phoenixes all the time, and it just does that. Gets you more copies of them. Alright, so they're dead. They're dead like 2 different ways. My prime sum for you, so maybe someday you're big enough to watch the Can't Ignore. Thank you, Reg. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks back this way again. Well, once they're in your hand, you can loot them into the yard, right, JW? That felt really clean. Turn on Delirium. I'm not sure. So this deck draws a lot more cards than the average deck, which should theoretically help with Delirium. Also, like, just that game, just like the fact that, like, having a 1-mana spell is meaningful for, like, flipping Thing in the Ice and, you know, flipping Thing in the Ice and enabling Arclight Phoenix is reasonable too. Like, this is basically a cantrip, right? Thoughts on Tarfire? God, it's awkward. Oh no, I missed it. I missed it. I should probably just close Twitter today. Yeah, Tarfire is a Delirium enable, but like the 2 damage versus 3 is like a big deal. My social media these days is mostly just blocking people. Like, if you want to learn, if you want to hear about how awful and terrible people are on the internet, someone just responded to one of my posts saying, hey, can you give me a specific example of where you think I'm being abusive or abrade with, do you have autism? With just like, how do you think that that's remotely okay? Like, someone asks for specific feedback and your response is like, hey, are you autistic? Like, good lord, people are terrible. So the normal builds of Blue-Red Phoenix play a bunch of Crackling Drakes, actually. They play a number of them. And this deck only plays one because it can find it with the Traverse the Ulvenwald when it wants it. Alright, so we need a thing in the ice ASAP. Yeah, that's probably true. If I crack the bauble first, I get a chance to know that, like, maybe the lightning bolt's good. Yeah, that's probably a worthwhile suggestion. I think you're right. This person, how is giving feedback on a format I play probably more than most people at all abrasive? I constantly say the format is healthy, and those screenshots are saying otherwise. Now there's people telling me that tweeting screenshots of modern board states is abrasive. God, people are the worst. I should just turn off my Twitter for the day. Tweeting board states of modern. It named Street Wraith. Yeah, they named Street Wraith, which is probably not a terrible thing. They probably assume that I'm Grixis Shadow from my opener here. I want to hold this till it turns on. What's going on, Totos? Thanks for the tip. Whoop. Tweeting modern board states is why I follow this stream. God bless. I think I'm fetching a breeding pool here. So I have green, cranial plating, so traditional affinity here it looks like. We're probably dead here at this point. Yeah, there are literally people that were telling me that tagging people who make the decisions about the modern ban list and modern board states was harassment. Alright, well. Hey, I have a 21-month streak and 22 total. I find that mildly frustrating. Thanks for the 22 pipped up monk. Aimbot Bows, thanks for the half a year. Welcome back. Now they have a main board revoker. Alright, so I have 4 card types here. So I get to go ahead and cast Manamorphose. I think I'm casting both Manamorphose here. Wow, that's good. Alright, so now I get to cast this again and like make green. So like this is what I'm talking about the birds seeming good, right? So like now I get to go ahead and do this and get an Arclight Phoenix. And now actually I think I just get a third Arclight Phoenix here, right? I think so. Yeah, I'm gonna get a third one. So like this was pretty sweet, right? If they hit a Galvanic Blast, I'm gonna be dead, but we're like always dead to Galvanic Blast, right? Do I attack? I'm gonna attack here. Do I think I can beat a The question I have to ask myself on this attack is, do I think I'm gonna be in a position to beat a Galvanic Blast? Thanks, Time Lord. What do you think about Affinity in Modern now? I think Affinity's fine. I think it's got some powerful proactive draws, and it gets to play some really meaningful disruption. Thanks, Dawnbreakable. Yeah, Matt's a funny dude. So I assume this is going to be a regenerate. These birds just playing defense might get us through this. Yeah, I don't think we're in a position to beat a Blast either. I think just like getting my hit in there while I can is good. So I'm gonna go ahead and cast Faithless Looting this turn. I think I don't want to put the thing into play. I'm not sure. So I'm definitely ditching this bird. I think I'm ditching the land. I'm gonna hold the thing for now. And then next turn I can go Visions, Thought Scour, Lightning Bolt to get all my birds back. I don't think it's going to happen at every major Magic event for the next couple of years, Fedged. I mean, now the expectation's gone for me to ever participate, right? So, like, it's not really that big of a deal. Wonder if they offer the trade of Ornithopter for the bird here. I don't want to bolt the Thopter right now because I want to use the bolt in order to get my birds back the following turn. Extra bolt is sweet. Are they... They're not dead, right? They're pretty close to it, though. Try and find my fourth bird here. So I got shot. Alright, so I'm going to bolt their Ornithopter here. I appreciate the liability that is you. Keep on, keep it on. Thanks, Rick. I appreciate the 13 months. Welcome back. So, do I attack? I think we might be getting to a point where I can beat a... Maybe I was supposed to keep the Stomping Ground and ditch the thing in the ice. So, do I... If I leave all these back, I could probably trade with this inside of combat. Or I could just attack with 2. If I just attack with 2 here, I can put... It puts them to 11. And then I can bolt them, gut shot them, get my Phoenix back that blocked. That's 5 plus 9. Yeah, I think I do this. And then if they don't have Galvanic Blast, I kill them next turn. Because, like, this leaves me dead to Galvanic Blast, but planning to use Gut Shot is going to leave me dead to Galvanic Blast anyways. And I was dead to Blast 2 turns ago, so if they haven't drawn Blast in this 2-turn window, I'm going to be fine. So they need to rip it this turn, or we're going to kill them next turn. On the average week, how many hours do I work? For the last, thank you D20 Bandits. I appreciate the 9 months. Welcome back. For the last month and a half, not month and a half. Since the new set dropped on Arena, I've been working probably close to 80 hours a week. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, like if they have any other interaction. Hey, Durka, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. So, we go Bolt you. Gut Shot you. Snapcaster Gut Shot you. Yeah, I mean, that's why I do it, right? Like, I love what I do here. Like, the, you know, 50 or so hours of that 80-hour work week is, like, being live here on Twitch, which is, like, a lot of the stuff that I do off stream, so, like, the 30 hours that I'm not live, a lot of that is, like, paperwork type stuff, right? Yes, they are, Hurley. Yeah, that was... This deck's been really impressive so far. I did not think we were about to win that first game, and then we, like, kind of came back up in and snuck it out. Defense, Phoenix on defense is underrated. Hey, Sarah Q, thanks for the 16 months. Welcome back. So, like, the problem, Elliot, is that if you only put top-tier Modern decks in, that's not Modern. That's not why people play Modern. People play Modern so they can play their fringe garbage decks. People don't play Modern just to play with the top-tier decks, is what it comes down to. Yeah, I think I want the Lightning Axe, too. I think I'd probably trim 2 Thought Scours here. That's probably the weakest of our cantrips. And then, is Crackling Drake necessary in this matchup? It's probably too slow, right? Thanks, Weeb Army. So the problem, Televangelist, is I don't understand necessarily how best of 1 goes, and I think there's a lot of decks that like are competitive and reasonable in best of 3 that are going to go on my website that just like aren't going to be competitive in best of 1 if it's aggressively slanted, from my understanding. Yeah, so this is card for card. What is 15 and 60? Let's submit this. This is card for card the list that Overturf's team they won the Open, right? They made the finals. I think they won. But yeah, this build seems really powerful. People who have watched this stream, if you've watched me play Phoenix decks in the past, you know that I've been completely underwhelmed and unimpressed with them. This build so far feels really good. It feels like it gained that last bit of consistency that this archetype has felt like it's been missing to me to explode consistently. So we're definitely playing Baubles out here. So I get to do a little bit of a scry trick here. So I get to Bauble myself to look at the top card of my deck. And then Manamorphose is a card I'd like to draw. So I'm going to go ahead and play a land so I can draw that. I'm going to shock this in. My opponent can regenerate their Signal Pest with this Welding Jar, but it's important to remember that regenerating a creature removes it from combat. Taps it and removes it from combat. So that means if I bolt this, they won't be able to attack with it this turn. Yeah, they did, Marty. I had people donate a pile of sub-gifts yesterday. So one of them put in this deck, and another one put in Grixis Shadow. So we'll be doing Electro End on Friday. Contested Warzone is some technology. That is an oldie that I haven't seen for a hot second. So enter combat. I'm going to go ahead and Lightning Bolt the Signal Pest, because it's the only pressure they have in play, technically. The Open this weekend is also standard, so I might do a short MTG only stream on. I might do a short MTGO only stream on Saturday or Sunday to like work through some of the modern queue that's backed up a little bit, since I've only been doing one a day. Hiya, Dauber. We do have a thing in the ice. Damping Sphere is real bad. Pulling Harshin Majam. There's a whole Twitter thread about the call. So, Manamorphose, well, that's another bird, okay. Man, if we can find an Ancient Grudge here, we're gonna be in a good spot. Take this Damping Sphere off the table. I'm gonna make, red, blue. Bauble, sure. Again, I can... check myself, and I don't want to draw this fetch land, so now I'll play my fetch land out, and I'll fetch this away before I draw with the Bauble on their next turn. Pass the turn back. Next turn I can fetch a basic and play an Arclight Phoenix out as just a blocker, which is nice. My opponent's last card is Contested Warzone, so they really don't have a lot going on here. So that means just, like, casting my Phoenixes is probably going to be reasonable. Thanks, Dauber. Contested Warzone, punch the clock and go into work here. Although I guess if I get my own bird, if I get my birds going, like I could steal that. Yeah, 4 mana, 3/2 flyers. What would it cost for a full day of MTGO? I don't know, probably $100 a league. So, if they attack here with everything, what'd they hit? Yep. Cranial plating's a little scary. Although I guess they can't equip it at instant speed, so it's like not that big of a deal. So, if my looting, my Thought Snare costs 2... Thought Scour. I'm gonna go ahead and just fetch a basic mountain here and cast another Arclight Phoenix, passing with blue mana up. This way I can Thought Scour at the end of the turn. Ideally, I may need to flip this thing in the ice over here soon. No one can point out a situation the last 5 years you being a real jerk / offensive. You ask people to be respectful and not be a jerk. Yep. Paula Cantio, thank you very much for the 10 months. Ready to square this number. Guarantees that there's 7.5 years of you streaming. Sounds good. Hopefully I'm going to be here as long as you all are. Yep. And you know what? Honestly, Applegate, a big part of it is on me, right? Like, I crapped the bit a number of times in the past, and it doesn't matter that if I've actually changed or not. Some people are always going to see that, and it doesn't really matter if I was never actually, like, did anything that, like, I never did anything other really than just, like, get down and troll with trolls. Like, I basically said mean things to people who were saying mean things to me, and that was wrong to a degree, and I shouldn't have done that, but I did, and, like, even if I move past it now, there's other people that are never gonna let me forget that, right? Okay, so I wonder if I'm supposed to hold the Thought Scour just so I have an instant speed way to flip this thing. That gives me an instant speed way to flip this thing. Hey, Kriko, thanks for the 3 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, so I'm going to Serum Visions here. And then... All right, so I have 5 card types. I mean, like, a lot of those people... Thank you for the quarter of a year, Kriko. A lot of those people are just, like, really upset that I've become successful now, right? Like, in their eyes, I'm this terrible person that will never change. And, like, the fact that I've managed to become successful by changing, I've never changed to them, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and pass the turn here. When they go into combat, I'm going to snap Thought Scour and flip my thing in the ice, which actually rebuys my Snapcaster Mage, which is great. I can't just be positive, Scuttles. It's not good enough for me to just be positive. I have to be positive while also simultaneously not being negative, ever. I guess they didn't use the word ever, but I don't want to misquote that. I really wish I could have just recorded the phone call to play it back, but that's not legal without asking permission. I didn't want it to seem like I was trying to get them. Targeting Thought Scour here because it's going to cost 2 to flash this back. Yeah, the funniest part is, like, I've even, like, made efforts to, like, stop swearing on stream to, like, make my content more accessible to people that want to watch with their kids. And, like, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with swearing, but, like, even strong language isn't what they're upset with, right? Because, like, there are a bunch of people that are invited that regularly use strong language on their streams, right? So, like, strong language isn't even the issue. It's specifically the feedback I'm giving while I make my content that's the issue. Ingot Chewer. Ooh, that's a piece of candy. That's a piece of candy. So if I do that, and then, gosh, if I fetch shock here, I can go traverse, get 2 Phoenixes, like put 2 Phoenixes into play. I'm probably just supposed to flash back the cranial plating though, right? Look at the list of people they invited. They invited a bunch of people that don't have followers, period. So that can't be it either. They did invite some people who have followers outside of Magic, but they also invited people who have little to no followings. So like that can't be it. If we're being fair and objective, that can't be it. Gosh, there's 2 birds in my bin already. So like I either flash back the Grudge and kill the plating. Yeah, and honestly, at the end of the day, it's all fine. Honestly, it's very freeing in a way to know that I'm not a head case, right? Like, part of me was starting to wonder, like, maybe they don't like me as, like, this narrative that I've made in my head to, like, push to, like, be funny on stream, right? And honestly was wondering if it was something that was all in my head. I think I attack with just 2 here. Oh, they don't have red mana. I don't have to worry about Galvanic Blast. I think I go ahead and do this. I play a okay game of Magic. Decent's probably okay through lots of practice. Lots of practice. Oh, right. This even gives me their contested war zone. That's great. They have 3 cards in hand, but unless they have, like, red source Galvanic Blast, they're very dead here. They specifically do not like my Twitter presence and the feedback that I provide. I'm just banning people who are stupid at this point. The best of one, I would play best of 1 for $250,000. 2, the tournament's not best of 1. So stop being lazy. Stop making arguments like that. It's just lazy because you're just wrong. Jeff, what's the big deal? Jeff doesn't like best of 1. Oh, the tournament's not best of 1? Weird. Real Eyes, Real, thank you for the biddies. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Well, I appreciate you just being here watching, Dairy Desserts. Putting your views where your mouth is helps out content creators like me too. Jackal Girl, apparently months and subs renewal aren't together anymore. Yep, yeah, so they redid the Twitch system, so everybody's getting to repost their notifications right now. Yes, they specifically cited, the person I talked to specifically cited my Twitter. Although I'm sure they're like not super pleased with some of the things I say on Twitch too, because I'm critical while I stream on Twitch as well, right? I played Traverse, I played Faithless Looting, I played Gutshot, so this bird's coming back. Hey, Zeke, thanks for doling out that sub gift. I appreciate it. No, I really don't care. I not saying I don't care isn't strictly true, so I'm not going to say that. But I'm not willing to change and give less feedback that I feel is fair. And if you feel feedback, this is a comment to everybody in general. If you ever feel that I say something on stream that is too harsh for no reason, that is harsh outside of the goal of being constructive, you should call me out on that. That is something I would like my viewers to do. But I am not willing to change being what I feel is simply honest for the chance of getting invited to things like the Invitational. I think that was an unreasonable ban there, Pythrion. I think that was a funny comment. Yeah, like, there's people, I'm like, what you understand, like, the people that don't like me like to make up things like tweeting pictures of modern board states. People are trying to claim that that's harassment, right? Like, they don't, that does a disservice to the word harassment. This deck, for the modern fans in the audience and people watching YouTube in the future, this deck seems busted. Like, again, as someone who's been super, super down on this archetype, this build feels absurd. And as someone who's also, like, not liked this card in the past, it feels good in this build. Thanks, Stephen Douglas. Can I have my sword back? Yeah, you're not wrong, Beetle. I haven't been a huge fan of Traverse the Ulvenwald in Modern in general, just because it feels hard to enable. But this deck has so many cantrips in it that it finds things like Mishra's Bauble pretty consistently, as well as creatures and stuff like that. How close are we to Pink Beard? We're currently at 4182. If that gets to 4,400 by the end of the month, you'll get a pink beard along with my pink hair. We are on the play, so unfortunately, this is a mulligan. It'd be a play. I'd keep mulligan on the draw too, right? This hand is excellent, Sneaper Keeper, and I would love a Serum Visions. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into play. I'm going to go ahead and play the Bauble. I'm going to stop during my opponent's upkeep and bubble them. Might take this to a tournament if you paid me? I don't know, probably. It seems pretty good. Goo Visuals, thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. This stream is sponsored by viewers like you. Thanks for keeping me around. Metacalls don't really exist in Modern. Sometimes you run hot. Like, the Mono Red Phoenix deck is like genuinely powerful and doing something objectively strong, but like to go 16-0 with anything is just a fluke and running well. Gannon, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month with that. Welcome, welcome. What do you think of Electro Dominance with Living End or Restore Balance? We've actually played Electro Dominance with Living End a couple of times on stream, and it feels very reasonable. Alright, so I haven't played a land yet. I could traverse the Ulvenwald. I guess I can flip this thing in the ice this turn, which is probably ideal. I Manamorphose for green plus blue mana. And then go traverse into Serum, into Gutshot them. And now I can just Lightning Bolt. I got you, Bappos. Yeah, I'm in for... Actually, you know what? Maybe I'm supposed to keep that land, so that way I can play... Yeah, I'm supposed to keep the land, because the Arclight Phoenix is lethal next turn. Binning the land was a mistake. So we'll lead on Manamorphose next turn, so that way I can try and draw a Bolt or another land. But I didn't take a second and count, meaning bottoming the land was wrong. Pythrion, thank you very much for gifting a sub. Electro Dominance and Wilderness Reclamation. Wouldn't it just be better to play Expansion Explosion? There's actually a number of Temur Reclamation. We're actually going to play a Temur Reclamation deck today that works around Wilderness Reclamation plus Expansion Explosion. The other thing is Pimped Up Monk is like the people who read Reddit or like are posting negative things about me in Reddit, a lot of text is very toneless, right? Like it's cold and people tend to add the tone that they want to read text in to be whatever they envision the correct, whatever they think the tone is. So like people that dislike me are gonna read basically everything that I write in a tone that they find negative. Because that's just, they don't like me, so they want everything I say to be negative. So if I would have kept the land on top, we'd have killed them. Thankfully, there's no justice on this stream, so we drew a Snapcaster Mage to kill them with Lightning Bolt. This deck feels busted. This deck feels busted. What's my favorite hero deck so far? I really like the Bant hero deck we played the other day. Although there's something special about pairing it with heroic reinforcements as well, which is great. So I'm going to ditch the Lightning Axe and probably a Crackling Drake because it's slow. I don't think this is a Spell Pierce matchup. Yeah, perception is everything. And with the world we live in where there's text, and like, that's why a lot of people use emojis a lot of the time, right? Because like, if you attach like smiley faces or winky faces or stuff like that, it implies context or feeling to what you're saying, right? So that way, it makes it less likely that people are going to try and interpret it in the way that they want rather than how you intend it to be. Correct, Matthew. The Phoenixes don't come into play until the beginning of combat. Thanks for clarifying on the Twitter situation, being open and transparent. Also, the general management of your chat regarding policing anti-LGBT and anti-special needs. Thanks, Tumbledwire. I appreciate the bits and thanks for being here. Jaeger, thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. Welcome, welcome. I think this is fine, right? I don't think I want Spell Pierce in this matchup. It really just feels like we just get to linear them super hard. And like, Gutshot's text box isn't super good here, but being a free spell to flip Thing in the Ice and trigger Arclight Phoenix seems exceptionally important. Two Chance for Glory, that's awesome. I mean, sometimes things are obnoxious and are nonsense though, right? Like, that's the thing. They're not saying my feet, if you're being honest, not everything is going to be positive and roses, right? Sometimes decisions get made that are bad and you need to, I feel like it, as my part as a content creator, just as much as it's important to praise Arena being awesome and good, it's also important to me to point out when something happens that I think is really bad and not okay. Or like something that gets done, it's like, that's not fantastic. Let's maybe not do that in the future. Hey, CJNJ, thank you for the 3rd of a year. Welcome back. Appreciate the 4 months. So what's and this deck has so many sequencing decisions between all of its cheap spells. So I think it's correct to lead on Thought Scour here, because Thought Scour gives me a chance to turn Traverse the Ulvenwald on next turn so I can get a Phoenix. Yeah, you gotta resend it through. And then we'll be, from here on out, they've changed their system, it'll be better. Yikes, Damping Sphere is really annoying. Yeah, I'm sure my stances on how they handle data surrounding Magic have not helped me. I'm sure that's one of the things they don't appreciate. One with nothing. Thank you for the 3rd of a year. Welcome back. I wonder if this deck's supposed to have some Abrade in it, or if I'm just, like, supposed to bring an Ancient Grudge, assuming this is going to be here. Alright, I'm just going to go... I probably want... I'm just going to go bottom here. I just need to find an actual threat, right? Trax, thank you. The Twitch system changed, so it's resending all the same notifications. Both the Android and iOS app should have subscribe options, then Loves You, but as a heads up, if you use this link in your mobile browser, subs.twitch.tv/Jeff Hoagland, it'll actually be cheaper because the mobile app takes a cut out of it. So I can't play Thing in the Ice this turn. I probably want both these lands. Traverse the Ulvenwald's a little bit away from being useful, so I think I'm going to ditch these and then play this land out. Wondering if Deeproot Champion... Yeah, that could be interesting, Elliot. I think there might be an interesting, like, Terramander plus Deeproot Champion deck in Standard somewhere. Twitch, bro, gotta turn him out and I back off again. Thanks, Squid Squad. Good morning, Ruben. Hope you're having a good one. So do I literally can't take the Damping Sphere off the table. So, like, flipping this thing's gonna be a little bit of a trial and tribulation. I think I'm supposed to start down that road, though. Hey, Lau, thanks for 11 months. I appreciate that. For me, you being a devil's advocate on what WotC could improve on is something that should be embraced. If they don't see all sides of the decision they make, yep, that's okay. You know, we will survive. Hey, hey. I've never done voice acting before. That sounds like something that'd be fun to do, though. And again, if not so wicked, thanks for getting that out of your way. If you ever feel like I am being unfair or needlessly unfair or needlessly rude, I feel like most of my criticisms are fair, but sometimes I am still occasionally needlessly rude. And that's my goal to not do. Needlessly rude is not okay. So, well, I shouldn't have played the land yet, huh? Playing the land was super wrong. I should have discarded that to Faithless Looting. Oh, actually, huh. With the Manamorphose, with the Manamorphose, I can actually put the Phoenix into play here, right? I can go fetch the island, Manamorphose for 3, make 2, and then cast Lightning Bolt for 3 mana, flip the Thing in the Ice, get Arclight Phoenix back. Hey, Malaris, thank you for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, Waterfalls. If you're looking for a modern deck, our sample size is small here, but you know, Overturf didn't make it to the final of that tournament by mistake. I'm actually gonna cast this Faithless Looting as my last spell in case I find another Phoenix here. Keep the bolts as reach. Hit them for 10 here. Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. They did, in fact, just claim their own Damping Sphere. All right, well, they're dead. They're dead to the Phoenix in the air. They're dead to the Phoenix in the air plus the bolts. Oh, do they have a Titan here? All right, so this deals 12. But 12's not enough to not die here, right? As someone who used to dislike you and your ideas years ago, I can say after giving you a chance and looking inward, I was able to understand where disagreements were and move past it. That's growing and being an adult. You've grown tremendously over the last 2 years, and it shows. And now you've been getting my Bezo bucks for 8 months. Well, thanks, chaps. I appreciate that. It's good to have you here. I think I deserved a lot of the animosity that I received in the past. I think while I've always tried to be honest, I think the way in which I presented my honesty was not always fantastic. And I have a Faithless Looting in my bin, so they're actually just dead here. God, this deck is absurd. Did Ryan break it? I think Overturf might have broke it. Playing good decks in Modern is fun. We just pew pew pew. I mean, they were dead regardless. There was a Faithless Looting in my bin, and we were gonna get the Phoenix back. But the third bolt just makes it sweeter. The green splash is for Ulvenwald, and then Life goes on and Ancient Grudge in the sideboard. We are 3060. Hey, Zeramots, thanks for 28 months. It's a long time. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate it. I agree, KZPS. I am genuinely not surprised that they don't want to work with me. It is freeing to hear it from the horse's mouth. It is freeing to know that it's not in my head. I'm not crazy. That the way the feedback I provide makes them not want to work with me. That's good to know. You know, that's okay. I don't plan. I want to not be unfair in what I say, but I also want to make sure that I'm able to give my negative feedback along with the positive. You messed up. Should have used the third bolt on yourself for max BM. God bless Macabre. This hand good enough? I think this hand's good enough. I've got a Thought Scour and a Faithless Looting. Yeah, apparently they wanted to call me to have this conversation. I don't know. Usually things like that, they probably didn't want to put in an email for me to screenshot. I'm not going to say any direct quotes because I didn't record the phone call and I don't want to misrepresent someone and imply that they said something they didn't. Although one thing that was kind of funny was that, and again, like, it's impossible to know if just, like, this is the person I was talking to or if they were just the messenger from other people. But one of the things they said to me regarding my type of feedback is they told me because I've gotten bigger, I should consider starting to treat this more like a business, which feels weird to me. It kind of felt like a, hey, your job is playing Magic, so you should just shut up and play Magic. And that's not what they said, but that's what you should treat this like a business kind of felt like to me hearing it, right? Because, like, I'd probably argue I treat streaming more like a business than most of the people who work on Twitch, right? So, what do I want to do? Hey, Zumael, thanks for the 9 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And Madishi, thanks for the 11 months. So, I get to Faithless Looting this turn, and then I get to Gut Shot them and attack for 6 because my Thought Scour hit 2 Phoenixes. Do I want this Thing in the Ice, though? Because Thing in the Ice is pretty good against Dredge. Kind of think I want to take these. I think I want these cards. Maybe they should appreciate the amount of business you probably generate them over the last year. Starts Mardu, Party Bus, will do tracks. I think I'm going to ditch a land and a Lightning Axe here. I don't really have extra cards lying around to like play the Lightning Axe with efficiently. I think double bottoming, trying to hit a 3rd Phoenix is a little bit aggressive. Yeah, this stream's like PBS. It's sponsored by the viewers like you all. Is there a secret mods only Discord channel for juicy DMs about being banned? There's a mods channel in Twitch chat. Twitch chat has channels, and one's a mod only channel. Yeah, it was big. Yeah, that's what it feels like it meant. You should filter your speech as though you're in a business setting. I'm sure you all will appreciate, and maybe you can tell me if this not the case, but my response to you should treat this more like a business was, I think a lot of the people who support my content do so explicitly because of how I present myself and the feedback that I give. 34 months. Thank you, Aaron. You've been around the block. Welcome back. Steve ate my cat. Okay, gotta send this out since the update. Alright, so this Thing in the Ice is like an oh crap button at this point, which we're hitting them to 7 this turn, so that's a pretty useful oh crap button. Ooh, Traverse the Ulvenwald's up to 4 now. Sounds good. Twitch told me to announce my 8-month anniversary. Welcome back, Twister. Yeah, Twitch changed some of their stuff, so. Gips, I'm really not worried about that. You know what? If people genuinely don't like me and don't watch my stuff and my numbers change, then maybe I'll consider maybe I need to do something differently. But honestly, I feel like I have changed, I have improved and gotten to a spot that's good, and changing from what I've done now when all of my metrics are up in every manner is silly. When people complain about what's going on in the stream, Pimped Up Monk, just ban them. People that don't understand that they can change the channel on Twitch, they can't help themselves, so we need to help them along. They're actually dead this turn, and it's absurd. God, did Overturf break it? Yeah, we get a land with Traverse, we cast Faithless Looting, we Manamorphose, we Faithless Looting, flip the thing, and then we discard the Arclight Phoenixes. The Traverse package has been absurd. I genuinely feel like Overturf broke it. Temur Flash, but been struggling against gates. Any idea how to deal with bigger creatures? Generally, like Temur, you're going to need to tempo them, right? You could have, like, some things like Canopy or Naturalize effects to destroy artifacts and enchantments, but the first month I subbed to you was first because you said, and I paraphrase, if you are playing Magic for anything other than fun, you're doing it wrong. Grinding for tickets is ridiculous. And I was considering it, and then you timed someone out for using hateful words, and that's when I knew you were the best channel on Twitch. Well, thanks, Penguin. So we do this, and then we flash back the looting here which flips the thing, which puts the birds back in my hand, and then we discard the birds to looting and attack for 13. We haven't lost a game. But like, and Caterberg, that's one thing that I've really struggled to do here recently is I think it's definitely very possible to be honest while still being relatively nice. The thing I'm still struggling to sort out at this point, and this is something I have to figure out, is that there are people who equate anything that's negative feedback as being mean, and that's definitely not the case, right? Like such a thing exists as feedback that needs to happen that's not needlessly negative. It's like talking about this thing that is a problem. You can have fun grinding tickets, and if that's your fun, then you are playing Magic to have fun. But if you're sitting there miserable and the only reason you're playing is this EV, it's not, you're not approaching it in a healthy manner. There's too much variance in Magic to have wanting to win be the only thing that you want to do. I need to cut one more card here. Maybe I trim a Gut Shot because it's like kind of mediocre in general and I'm bringing in 2 other free spells. Yeah. Well, to be fair, Caterberg, from my understanding, Wizards of the Coast isn't a huge fan of Tolarian Community College either. It's just Tolarian Community College is huge, right? Like, he's the largest Magic content creator that exists. Was on Reddit last night and I honestly can't stand the Echo Chamber. The thread I was there was one guy who was like, but I like Jeff, and he was just downvoted into oblivion. It's just how it goes. It's just how it goes. Sure, but I'm not at that point yet, right? Like I haven't even been doing this full time for a year. I get that I've been streaming for a really long time, but like I haven't been doing this as a job, like even for a year now. Like I started doing this full time at the beginning of March last year. Yes, Wizards of the Coast works with Tolarian Community College because he literally has a larger presence than they do in some segments. If I get to that point, I assume that they will eventually want to work with me too. But at this point, I'm still in here with, you know, Nox and Caleb and all these other people. And as long as I'm in the middle of the pack with all the other top streamers, they don't have a reason to work with me over people that are nicer to them. And that's okay. What type do I do? I primarily work with Python, is the language I've worked the most with. What's my thoughts on Esper Control? I think Esper Control is kind of slow and dirtily for my taste, and I think Unmoored Ego is a really pretty bad Magic card. We should probably create a command for Unmoored Ego. Honestly, I think at this point, a lot of the people who claim to have a really large problem with me are people who have been in the community for a long time, and I've changed a lot in the last 2, 3, even just the last year, as I've been able to figure out how to better articulate and present myself in a way that's less obnoxious and is purely constructive and less negative associated with it. Yeah, I should have bubbled myself first. Definitely should have bubbled myself to do the scry trick. Oh, you know what? I should probably Thought Scour myself here in case I hit a Surgical Extraction. So the scry trick. So because I have a fetch land here and I was going to Thought Scour anyways, I could have baubled myself, and then if there was a card on top of my deck that I didn't want to draw, I could then fetch it away before the bauble trigger lets me draw the card. Yeah, and I think that's a big change too, right, Caterberg? Like where you direct frustration is important, right? Like there's a big difference between, oh, I'm upset with myself because I made a mistake, and oh, my opponent's stupid and lucky and they got all the things. It's like it's important to like focus on the things that you can change, and especially not lay into people that you're playing against. All right, so what am I supposed to do here? I think my best chance to win this game is probably Manamorphose or Serum Visions into a Faithless Looting, and then like get these birds into play this turn. So I think I go Morphose into blue-red, and then hope one of these two draws hits a looting. Oh, that's one of these needs to be red mana to start. Auto tapper when? Auto tapper when? Okay, that's a hit. They only have 2 cards in their hand here, which means they can't conflagrate to kill this next turn, which means next turn I get to go Manamorphose and then 2 Serum Visions to try and find a 3rd land to flip the thing in the ice and crack them for 7. J Boz, thank you for the half a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think MTGA lets you play more games of Magic in a smaller time span because the games are faster. So it feels like you're getting mana screwed more often in MTGA, when in reality, you're getting mana screwed the same proportional number of games. You're just playing more games. Woof. Woof. That's a tough break. So the initial hand algorithm, Caterberg, only applies to best of 1. Hey, liability, what's going on, Diva? Thanks for the 8 months. I got you, random guy. Honestly, as a programmer, I am super impressed that Twitch was able to roll out their update with 0 downtime. It was kind of impressive. Like, it's annoying seeing all these things come through, but like the fact that the update rolled out like mid-stream was like really pretty impressive. All right, so now since I hit this 4th land, I can cast the Serum Visions and then shock in the land to Manamorphose. I basically just want to give myself the most chances to find a Faithless Looting this turn. And I found Looting and Surgical Extraction. Chef's kiss. All right, so top. Shock this in. Cast Manamorphose. Hey, Big Ben, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate it. Welcome. There's a lot of great people you can ship that to every month. Thanks for sending it here. And then I think my health total is low enough here that I actually make red black. And I just go ahead and exile their Conflagrates this turn. Wow, that's a lot of bolts. Agrado with the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. I do appreciate that. Welcome back. How many Creeping Chills are in their deck? There are 3 Creeping Chills. They boarded in 1 Leyline of the Void. A singleton Leyline. Hey, Stuber, thanks for 11 months. I appreciate that. Manamorphose made black mana. Just the purest of minds. I mean, if it's always going to be in your opener, why do you need anything else, right? So if I hit them for 6 here and then they attack me with Dark Weave, I actually kill them next turn. If they hit a good Dredge, I could die for this attack. Like they hit a bunch of Creeping Chills or Blood Gas, but I think I'm okay with that. I think I just want to like be aggressive here. Oh, I'm dead. They hit, I guess maybe 1 Bloodghast or 1 Creeping Chill killed me, so maybe I'm supposed to be a touch defensive. I don't know. The Bloodghast have haste because I'm at 8. maybe because they couldn't cast Conflagrate this turn, I'm supposed to hold Surgical Extraction. It's very possible I messed up by not holding the Surgical Extraction. All right, we were bound to lose the game eventually, right? Let's get game 3 on the play. Let's get game 3 on the play. I think that game was winnable. There were a couple of different points where I could have made better decisions. I could have timed my Surgical better. I could have bolted the Amalgam, like Grimes just pointed out there. I think there's a couple of different points where I gave up percentage points by not sequencing optimally. This deck feels like a Legacy deck, chat. No joke. Just like the sequencing that's going into like what we're doing each turn, it feels like a Legacy deck. I have been absurdly impressed with this build of this deck. It is not an accident that Overturf teams made the finals. We've played a bunch of these Phoenix decks on stream, and no build has come close to feeling as good as this build feels to me. So easy ditch the Phoenix here. Probably just the Traverse since I don't have a green source anyways. The Phoenixes do not cacaw, unfortunately, on this application. We're cacawless. We've not tried the mono red list. We've played other mono red builds in the past. They've always felt a little bit inconsistent to me. Thing in the Ice is an incredibly powerful card. If they don't have a copy of Assassin's Trophy here, we should be in a pretty good spot. Cacawless Phoenix. That's pretty good. So they're lacking dredgers, but they're putting a bunch of power in play here, which actually makes the fact that I have Thing in the Ice here absurd. One land, please. All right, so I need to Serum Visions first here to give myself the best chance to hit a land, but this does mean that I'm going to have to Thought Scour them if I do find a land. Because obviously I can't, and I could lead on Thought Scour, but if I lead on Thought Scour, that gives me less of a chance to find a land to play this turn. So leading on Serum Visions is important. Well, that's a Surgical Extraction. That's a Surgical Extraction, huh? And a Gut Shot. Well, I think I just go, this game's super done. We're gonna go top. We'll Thought Scour them. Draw the Stomping Ground. Well, I can flip it with the land too. I'm gonna hold on to the Surgical Extraction here actually. Or I'm not, and I'm gonna take all of their Creeping Shells away. Ain't nobody got time for your life gain, opponent. Bolt you, attack you for 10, put you to 2, go. I'm doing fantastic. This deck is busted. And this deck is a fantastic example of how Modern is only going to continue to get more linear and more degenerate unless they are eventually willing to ban things like Ancient Stirrings and Faithless Lootings. As more cards get printed and these cards find optimal shells and become more efficient, the format is just going to become more and more focused on doing things like this. And if you like doing things like this, it's great. Honestly, this is kind of fun. So maybe it's fine. I'm kind of having a good time. I just think it's funny that people are like, well, Stoneforge Mystic creates deck building restrictions, and I'm over here like, but Faithless Looting. But Faithless Looting. Alright, easiest. This is the easiest 4-0 I've had in a very, very long time. I'm gonna tag Overturf and tell him I think he broke it. Just like with emotes, people inject your words into their internal feelings. Those that they assume the worst do so because that's how they think. I enjoy your streams. Well, thank you, Jason Findy. I appreciate the 4 months. Welcome back. We are still EXO. We've lost. We did drop a game. We have dropped a game. So, Eldorche, I want to just comment on what you said there. I definitely pride myself on having integrity and being honest, but what I said on Twitter is not meant as a slight to other content producers. And I think there's people out there that are negative that are going to take it to mean that. What I posted yesterday in no way should be taken to imply that people who are sponsored by Wizards of the Coast are not honest with you. That was not the intention. What my takeaway from the call that I had with them could be very different than the interactions that they've had with other people. I can only tell my story, and you shouldn't project what happened to me and what was said to me onto other people. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to say that at several points over the next coming weeks, but I think it's important to say that. Because that's not the first person to, I think there's going to be, I've had people imply that already, and it's really annoying. So it's not what I said, and I can understand how people would take what I said to mean that way. But yeah, if someone wants to clip that, please feel free. That's Life Goes On in the sideboard. Thanks, Eldorte. I just want to make sure that that's not something that's confused. I think that's a message that people, especially people who want to try and be my detractors, are going to try to push that narrative based on what I said. Nice, Krishwan. Having sweet decks that you enjoy is the best thing about Magic. Yay, Dredge again. What did we play in this league? Are they really 0-1? That's super funny. Thanks for the clip. I appreciate it. This league really embodied Modern, right? Like we played Dredge twice, and we played Green Red Titan twice. What was the other deck we played against? So if you're now confirmed Watsy's heel, can we get you a cool WWE style intro song? Might have to hire someone to produce something. Oh, Affinity. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about... How could I forget about Contested Warzone? I am truly a monster. I forgot about Contested Warzone. I'm gonna make double red here, so that way if this looting hits a bird, I can bolt them. Or cast a second looting to dig for more birds. Definitely ditching the Bauble here. There's no Scry Trick because I'm doing this stuff. Oh, I hit Scry Trick. No, I drew the Bauble off the thing, right? It's kind of funny if you think about that in a way. And again, I'm saying people who have cheated in the past can change, but in Wizards of the Coast's eyes, their PR thinks being associated with the feedback that I post on Twitter is more damaging to their brand than being associated with people who have been banned from their game for cheating. That's a stark... I hadn't thought about it that way, but they definitely do that. They definitely do that. There are people in the MPL who have been banned from Magic for cheating in the past. I don't know if they believe that, but that's what their actions say, right? I am fine, Dunlap. I'm super happy. My life is fantastic. I really can't complain, right? Like, I mean, is it strictly whataboutism? It's comparing things they're willing to associate with, right? Like, they're saying what I do isn't willing to be associated with, but what these other people do is still okay to associate with. Maybe you're right and that is just whataboutism. I think I just play Crackling Drake here, right? The bottle of Jack in the morning is almost a stream meme at this point. So, next turn... I guess if I'm gonna flip the thing in the ice over, playing the Crackling Drake's a little awkward. What about isms refers to when you're talking about an issue at hand and someone goes, well, what about this other thing? Instead of addressing the issue at hand, they say, don't talk about this, instead talk about this other thing over here. Yeah, Garden Variety Troll. I definitely have it linked on a command. Hey, welcome back to a live one, right, Rebel? So Drake out, Lightning Axe out, one gut shot out. That's how we boarded last time. Good morning, Metatide. Yeah, just if you're a sub who's already sent your notification through and it keeps popping up, just send it through. You need to clear that out since the system changed, and that won't happen again. Everyone's gonna have them. Yes. What a good example. What about ism is help refugees? People go, well, what about all these other homeless people? It's like, well, both of these things are bad and need to be addressed, right? If you have constructive and specific feedback, putting it in a place where I can read it after the stream is ideal. If you're a sub, you can DM me on Discord. If you're anybody else, my Twitter DMs are open. Limbed Nursery and Genetic, thanks for pushing those through. I think this is a mulligan, right? Like, it's got a lot of land. It doesn't have a Faithless Looting. It doesn't have a Surgical Extraction. This hand's at least got some more cantrips here. I think I'm going to bottom that because I don't have a way to turn it on soon. You can tutor. I can't tutor for the fairy. Oh, with Traverse. You're saying in general. Yeah, right. In that hand, I couldn't tutor for it. So I don't have a way to get set up for Delirium. But yeah, eventually you can get Macabre with. Yeah, whataboutism is the Black Lives Matter movement. People respond with all lives matter, like that kind of nonsense. That's whataboutism, just like textbook. I'm gonna not play the Serum Visions on one here because I want my cantrips to exist after I flip Thing in the Ice. No, I think that's an objective. I think that's an objective line that they would have to go with, that they'd let me there. They'd let me in there. Like, Jerry Thompson's super critical of them, but he's in the MPL because that had objective criteria to get into, right? A Shadow Rail, there's a shield without a sword. Let's fix that. Stain the Mind is in their graveyard. That's a good catch. I just assumed that was a Dredge creature. That's a spicy one. How many subs is too many subs? The number I have now. It's a lot. It's like, the number I have now is approximately 3,000 more subs than I expected Magic to ever be able to have. $100 hero. Thanks for sending that through. You know, I've often said I'm living in the most wonderful, weird timeline, right? Like, the timeline where the Valve card game kind of failed as an esport and Wizards is, like, leading the charge for card game esports. It's like, this is not where I expected to be 6 months ago, but it's really kind of nice. The sub points update in real time on stream. There's, like, a few second delay. Keep in mind, if you're sending notifications through, you're likely already counted in there. Yeah, they changed the way they're counting, so people are resetting them through on the back end. All right, so their hand's kind of slow. Honestly, I think I'm gonna go ahead and shock this in and play the second Thing in the Ice here and just like flip both of these next turn. I'm gonna bottoms up on these. Don't need more lands at this point. So they're at 17, which means they're dead next turn, because I'm gonna 14 plus bolt them if they don't hit a Creeping Chill here. Yeah, if they don't hit a Creeping Chill, they're dead. Thanks for the support, Judge Jason. Thanks for keeping me around. I agree, Manatithe. I agree. I think it would have been tough. Oh, good. They should be dead here. Here's something else that I want to make sure is very clear regarding the conversation I had yesterday with Wizards of the Coast. Don't let one decision that this company made regarding me specifically impact your ability to enjoy playing Magic. Like, them not liking me is like, this is whataboutism, but like, them not liking me is like super absurdly low on the totem pole of like terrible things to happen in the world. And Magic's something you should engage in for fun. So regardless of their opinion and stance on me and my content and how I conduct myself, enjoy Magic. Magic's great. This is probably the greatest game in the world. It is so awesome and fantastic and unique in a way that no other game could ever dream of being. All right, well that was the easiest 5-0 I've probably ever had on this channel. And the one game we lost, I'm pretty confident I made 2 or 3 sequencing mistakes in and would have won with better sequencing for the 10-0. If you're looking to play just a busted deck in Modern, this is going to be my recommendation moving forward. Unless something changes, like I've been super down on both blue-red Phoenix and Traverse the Ulvenwald in Modern, but putting this in here really made it kind of all come together. The Phoenix decks just felt like they needed that little bit of extra push to be consistent, and Traverse the Ulvenwald really feels like it matters. Oh, for one other fun comment, random guy, something that I talked about with the rep, that was, I talked about this in the subs Discord. They asked me what my plans were to move, if I planned to move past Magic. And I don't know, I know like other people in the past have like used Magic to like springboard into other games. And I was just like, I don't really plan to move past Magic, right? Like I've tried other games and like Magic's just kind of uniquely awesome. And like if at some point in the future this streaming Magic on Twitch stops being my job, like, or stop paying my bills to be my job, I'm not gonna just find another game. I'm just probably gonna go back to writing software. Like, this is, yeah, I don't understand. Like, why would I need to go do something else? I don't know. I mean, and maybe they're just used to that, right? Like, cause like big streamers come in and like they play for a little bit, sponsored and unsponsored, like move on to the next hot thing. But like, I've been here a while, and I don't plan to go anywhere. As long as y'all will have me, I'll be here. I think that's definitely, I think part of it is that, right? Like, especially pre-arena, like, there was this narrative that, like, if you wanted to do content as your job, you couldn't do that doing Magic. And that's definitely not the case anymore, right? Like, myself, Kenji, Caleb, we've all been doing Magic as a job before arena even existed, right? Yeah, I think they're probably gauging intent based on an expectation that other people have set up to springboard into other things. Just like, that's never been my intention. It's just like, I have actual employable skills that get me jobs. That is correct. Got that old master's degree in my back pocket. I actually leave my LinkedIn profile updated so I can occasionally get DMs from recruiters. All right, we're gonna move on to standard for the rest of the day. If you didn't catch all of that video, you're definitely going to want to catch the replay on my YouTube channel later. It's really good. If you're into Modern, you're gonna want to see that deck. Get to put my headphones on for the Vigi games. We did 5-0. We lost one game in that set, and I punted the game we lost. You definitely had to go more out of your way to do MTG as a job doing the MTGO. You're not wrong, Shelly. You're not wrong. Mardu, what are we starting to say? Mardu aggro. You've got that ASMR to fall back on too. If you check out the videos on my YouTube channel, I always post wrap-up segments at the end. If you're always wondering like what my feedbacks are on a specific deck. Oof. It's actually got a little hot down here. Turn my heater off. We're a little above freezing, so once I knock the chill out of the air. I did give a warning at the beginning of the ASMR video, to be fair. Can't wait for my ASMR altar shill. I did promise you that. I did promise you one creepy shill. -40, gross. No worries, Steven. There you gotta get those cleared out. Alright, let's update the stream decker and we'll be on our way, shall we? Hey, Platinum, thanks for the 4 month.